Hey, it's Rich. How you doing? I'm out here in the shop with this 1993 Stevie Ray Vaughan model Stratocaster, the signature model, as you can see there. Um, it does not have the original pickups in it anymore. It has some unknown winder, low wind, like a 5.8K or so wind, very low output, very strong magnet pickups. It still needs some work. The Still needs some work on the frets and the neck and so forth, but it's in the ballpark. I made a silly little detail change to it recently that I talked about in part one of this series, and that silly little change was really apparent playing the guitar acoustically. I've tried it through little practice amps in the basement. Pretty sure you don't want to hear that. Well, I have my actual rig out here in the shop. I can't run it at the volume I normally run it at a gig. I usually run it a little hotter than this, but to get some sounds, this will give an idea. Anyway, it's the guitar is really starting to come around, and I think with the fret work and some electronics work to make myself more comfortable with it, I think it's going to be a good guitar here eventually. But it's most of the way there already, I think. Now, mind you, these strings are at least a month old, and they're very beat up. They've been on and off a few times. I haven't wiped them down even. They're not in great shape, but they sound however they sound is how they sound. They're old. Turn on a delay. Roll this one off too a bit. change that I've made so far. That little change and allowing myself to adjust to it has really made a big difference. The guitar resonates so much better than it did before. It's real responsive, and I tried to convey that in the part 1 video by playing it acoustically. I realize a lot of folks may not understand what the heck I'm talking about. Why are you not plugging it in? It's never going to sound right. You know, those may be some of the thoughts, but on the other hand, in areas where I was able to explain what I was up to, pretty much everyone who listened to it agreed, holy smoke, what a change. It sounds like an acoustic now. That's how it's supposed to sound. If you have an electric guitar that sounds weak when you're playing it not plugged in, it's probably going to sound weak plugged in too. Do you want to hear more of the guitar or more of the pickup? You can take a guitar that's very inherently acoustically not all that strong, and you can put super, super high output pickups on it, and yeah, it'll work for that sound. That's not my sound. I've had that before, actually, and I understand what that's about, and it's fun. It's just not what I'm into at this point in time anymore. So anyway, that aspect of it is working much better. There's still a lot that doesn't work. Obviously, the neck and the frets are what they are. I'm going to have to get those fixed at some point. The neck profile is completely wrong for me, but I'm going to acclimate to it anyway. Just kind of an interesting point. My friend Kenny, who was the original owner of this guitar, of course, I went in part 1, I went into some detail. He originally had it set up with gargantuan Stevie Ray Vaughan size strings, and I think he even dressed up like Stevie Ray for one Halloween or two. Don't hold me to it, but I think he did. I think he had the pants tucked into his boots and the whole bit. He had the huge strings on it, and I don't think he knew much about truss rod adjusting yet, and I think the strings may have done some damage to that guitar, along with the funny little sticker in the neck pocket, which kind of acted as a shim. I think those two things contributed to damaging the neck and making it ramp up there, but I'll get it fixed. I'll get it to someone who knows what they're doing and put my preferred fret size on it, and it should come around after that. But there's no fixing the neck profile unless I want to carve that down and refinish it, and I've kind of committed to acclimating to it. I think I can probably make it work. It is too big for me. Kenny said it was too big for him too. After he tried that as his first Strat and then switched to regular 57 and 62 reissues, and then eventually had the smallest neck of all of any of the ones he owned, which is a 1982 Japanese 50s reissue that I eventually also bought off his parents. That guitar has a very small neck on it, and he got so used to that the Stevie Ray Vaughan felt like a 2x4, and that's one of the reasons why he never played it, besides it feeling kind of dead and not ringing acoustically. So I think I've made some good progress there. The neck profile is what it is. I'm going to have to deal with it. I'm going to pretend I'm playing another guitar, honestly. And I've also set the strap. Now, this is an interesting thing because of the asymmetrical neck carve. It's made me want to adjust the strap on the guitar in a different way that puts my hand in a different place that seems to make it more comfortable overall. It took me quite a while to come up with that idea, but that seems to be working, and it's the smallest change. It's only maybe making the strap maybe a half-inch longer than I normally would. It's not hardly anything, but it seems to have made a big difference. So I'm looking for little details that I can do to make this more of a functional instrument, but there's no little detail that I can do really to fix the left-handed whammy bar, I don't think. That thing, there are times where I feel like I acclimate to it, and there are other times where I feel like, boy, I should just take this off. It's totally in my way. One thing I have considered is that when you're actually using it, it works okay, but the position of the bar in terms of easy to find at any time while you're playing, that is still a bit clumsy to me. I'm still more used to the traditional Leo Fender design that would have the bar coming out the bottom of the bridge instead of the top. The other thing about it too is that the bar seems too short. Now that it's however wide the bridge is, what is it, 3 inches? You know, it's about like that. However wide the bridge is, the bar seems too short by that amount because I'm used to it being lower on the guitar by that amount. So I'm sort of thinking maybe a bar from a Jazzmaster might feel better to me. That's easy enough. That's a little detail. It kind of falls into the type of thing I'm trying to do here to make it work for me. So if I can find a vibrato bar for a Jazzmaster, I might throw that in there. I'm also not above, if it's way too long, shortening it to what I think is appropriate. I just want it to drop when it's hanging down. I want it to drop down to the same point that a stock Strat would be, instead of the left-handed trem Stevie Ray Vaughan spec. So those two things are still wrong. The pickups are, I've played low output pickups enough to where I can play them and I kind of know what to expect. I want a smoother response from the neck and middle pickups. I don't want such as I can feel a stronger magnet in them, and I feel like it holds the guitar back slightly until you really hit it hard. It acts like it wants to be hit harder on the neck and middle pickups than I want to do it. On the bridge pickup, I feel I could go Alnico 2, 3, 5. I've never used a 4. I feel like the stronger or weaker on the bridge isn't as much. It doesn't change the way the guitar feels to play as much as it does the neck and the middle in terms of string pull and how it sort of holds the string back until you set it in motion. It has a real snappy response, which is real typical of a stronger type of magnet. But between those magnets, a little too strong for me, I think, in the neck and middle positions, and the wind not really being quite as hot as I'm used to. I think I have to replace them, and I have some on the way to do that. I tried to fix some of the scratches in the poor relic job, and above the pick guard, there were a bunch of scratches intentionally put there. I tried to wet sand and wheel them out, and I burned through the finish, so I actually added to the relic aspect of it without really intending to. I don't really care for the relic aspect of it, but I guess it does look cool in its own way. I can imagine not being a guitar player who understands the difference between a nitro relic and a poly relic and going, well, it's obviously a poly relic, you know. The nitro just looks so much more authentic and is much cooler looking when it gets beat up. But that said, it doesn't look bad, and it does make the guitar look kind of tough, so I'm not really going to complain about that. The finish kind of is what it is. I think that's about all for today. I hope you all have enjoyed this and can use this info somewhat on your own instruments. And take care. I'll see y'all real soon. And hopefully installment 3 will have me making some more little changes for it and showing you what happened. Okay, bye.